don't want to ladies, my name is Chazz, and welcome to the What If Chazz Pool was in My Hero Academia. So yesterday, or should I say the last video that I did, was What If Deku was Chazz Pool, was a big hit. Basically, like, where he became a villain that, not a full-fleshed one. It was more of a, like, let's see how much entertainment that I get out of working with you guys type vibes. So, like that. So, but in this What If, I'm doing Chazz Pool as his own separate character. So, before we jump right into the What If, I will have to say Chazz Pool is the opposite personality. Basically, he's like Deadpool, but with a little bit more heroes than being like I can't say the. It's like Hero Killer Stain, but yeah. So, without further ado, or should I say, let me explain this to you. This is what he looks like. Hey, so he will break the fourth wall, and he has this weird backstory. And no, not the one that you're thinking about. Like, I know he's one of my custom characters. So, let's begin with Chazz Pool being, like, basically born, and his twin brother is Eli, or not Eli, E-L-I, yeah, so, Pool, L-Pool, yeah, and so L-Pool became a work for hire as Taskmaster. Yeah. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's the villain in the Marvel's universe where he can copy the moves of everyone. But this version of Taskmaster, I can't even say his name first of all, because I gave him the power of shape-shifting abilities. So he can mimic, like, a person's he's like Toga, but he can use, like, skills and a person's powers. So, let's begin. So, yeah. So at age of 5, should I say 5, after they got their quirks checked, and Chazz Pool, who went to the same school as with Toga, Himiko Toga. And Himiko Toga, she used to have a lot of friends. And she always hangs out with other people. But then, one day, she finally snapped. And she became a creepy, like, basically, like, she was by herself. Because the side effect of her quirk made her go crazy. And she drank someone's blood. Some random boy, the one that you usually see in the backflash, or not backflash, there it is, right there, this one. Well, the Chazz who looks at, or everyone spread rumors about her being like, or she was the one that killed the poor kid. But Chazz doesn't see that. So, during lunch, he goes upstairs, where Toga was at, as she, like, had her head, or she basically had her head in her hands. Not literally, like, not, like, chop it off and put it on her hands. No. As she's blaming herself. She's blaming herself for like what she had done. And as she can't, like, as she's like, I know she's blaming herself a lot. But Chazz has because he knew her name, so he basically was like, so he basically walks up and he looks around. Where did you go, Toga? And she says, leave me alone. I'm not here to, like, punish you. I was checking if you were okay. Because I know it wasn't your fault. Your quirk drove you insane. Trust me, I know. As that. Because I'm already insane. I mean, as when Toga heard, and when she, like, looked at him, she didn't realize that he was same craziness as her. Because he wasn't just born with a quirk. He was also born with a power. that allows him to basically he has the powers of infinity, zero, breaks the fourth wall, regeneration, and all that stuff. So that makes him a powerhouse. So, yeah. So when his quirk is called, like, mind reading of insanity. He just, like, told her that I'm already crazy enough. But you and I aren't so different from each other's, if you really think about it. As she's wondering, or she's asks him, what do you mean? Well, your quirk manifested, and you before, right? Yeah. As well, my quirk manifested before, but my power, his actual powers, manifested after that. Plus, one of the abilities that I have, because in this world, there's tier lists. There's quirkless, quirked, and powers. Normally, under normal circumstance, there's people that have to be born 1 or 2, not 3 or 4. Like, they have to be born either quirkless, quirked, or powers. Not both of, like, being quirked and then quirkless. Yeah. So, yeah. But when he told her that I have a power to, or one of my powers is basically, it's called breaking the fourth wall. As Toga is wondering, what does that mean? Well, as he pulls out a phone, it's like watching movies and and the characters' reactions to the audience. I'm the only one that, as he says, I'm the only one that can perform it. It might sound useless, but one major upside to it is actually I can even pull stuff out of thin air, and wow. So, yeah. You might think that's crazy talk, but that's okay. Yeah. And besides, hey, already have the antidote for the... Here. As he gives it to her, as she drinks it, as her, like, basically her side effects of her quirk just randomly just disappeared. As she realizes her insanity, like her basically her cravings for human blood or for blood just disappeared, like without a trace. What did you do? I simply just used my power to create a blood that basically turns any side effects of your quirk out of existence. Wow. So, as he turns away, as he says that it might seem useless for me to pull out, like, anything, I literally mean anything. And when Toga heard, or when she, like, basically heard Ern, what he can, like, when he, like, says, I could pull one giant nukes and anything in fights. I don't need to, like, have creation and quirk. As, yeah. So now, I guess it's almost lunchtime's over, so, or almost. So, if you, and by the way, hey, hold on. As he looks at her, if you want someone to love you, you have to give them your love. To accept you. As Chazz says that with a, like, basically a calm look. But you already have one. As she's wondering, and then she remembers it was him. So when Toga saw, as when he walks away, because then she thought about it, that he cared about her so much. Like, so much he cares about her that even like, as she's like dancing around, with a smile on her face. And most of the guys, or most of the people that were downstairs after he walked down to meet them, you're still in one piece, as everybody's like still shocked about that. Yeah, did you think I was gonna be ripped apart by her? No thanks. And you guys see the crazy side of her, like negative side. But I see her as a positive side. And like, she has the exact same craziness as I have. One of my powers is called the breaks the fourth wall anyway, so how does that work, by the way? As one student asks, or one kid asks, well, funny that you mentioned it. I'll explain it. As, let's say they had a TV in the lunchroom, as he points to it, imagine watching a TV show where cartoon characters interact with you as a viewer. Yeah, you can basically do whatever you want. As he says, or they usually, yeah, but there's only a couple people that can actually do that. There's only, as he says, to my head is there's only two people that can perform it. Or actually, three. That's me. Third. Second is Spider-Man. And Deadpool from Marvel's. Wow. So, Deadpool from Marvel's, who's that? Well, as he says, well, he's crazy. He likes to cause chaos. You thought Toga was, like, crazy. Just ask him. He's a nutcase. He has personalities of the... He has a personality of a 2-year-old with two separate personalities inside of his head. But me, I have you guys. Yeah. So then after school, Toga dates Zuko. Or no, I meant Toga dates Chazz after that. And so at the end, before we move on, Chazz breaks, or not breaks the team, he basically, I'm trying to, here, there we go. So, Chazz is more, yeah. Yeah. So, he ends up basically winning every fight. Right? So, he says, well, oh, my lovely viewers at home, I hope that you guys have a greatest days. And please make sure to hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, and all that stuff. And if not, I'll send Toga after you. If you don't, not really. It's just a joke. So, yeah. So now let's get back into the what if and do a little time skip. During the time skip, the team, because that was actually basically the time skip of me saying some crazy stuff. Or him saying crazy stuff. So during the time skip, him and Toga were dating for a long time. And, yeah. So, she and him went to UA. And so, he knows that his parents and his brother were, or he thought all three of them were dead, except that his brother is still alive. But instead of showing like negativity like everybody else, he just shows like basically a psychopath. Like, he doesn't need to be like, he doesn't need to, because he wants everyone to see his happy side, not his sad side, or depressed side. So he goes to UA with Toga, and the Zuko when Nezu pulls up his file, it says, like, there was 2 categories of quirks and powers, and it said both of them. So, as he says, basically he was gonna walk up to the front of the line, but Tenya stops him and tells him that he needs to, or he doesn't need to bother her, like Ochako, as Tenya, or as Chazz looks at Tenya, and he says, I wasn't gonna actually bother her, actually. I was trying to move up to the front to be a first one out of the door. So are you ready for as he tells Tenya's brother, tells Tenya that ready for it? It's gonna start soon, so when the doors open, I'm jetting out and killing all of those robots. That's what I'm going for. As Toga, because they were both dating, she actually tells Chazz that I'm right behind you. And so they're like, as Tenya's surprised that he just be like, holy crud. So these two are charged right into battle. Yep. Ready? So then the doors opens, and both of them launched like rockets right out as Toga throws knives the middle knives at the robots, 1-pointers, 2-pointers. As Chazz pulls out a rocket launcher, boom, as he blasts, with like, you know that one scene in One Piece where Frankie used like guns? He's hurting. So, I'm trying to figure out the one that he used in the... Oh, here it is. This version. Yeah. Well, Zuko... Sorry, hold on. Sorry. Yeah, so Chazz is like similar to Frankie over here. And yeah, Chazz just boom, 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 boom. And he's like a loose cannon. Everybody's eyes widen as their eyes, as thank goodness Toga was standing behind him. Not all the way behind, but just enough without her getting caught in the crosshairs. And the 1-pointers, 2-pointers, 3-pointers, everything was wiped out in about 5 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. As everyone that was like everyone from gonna find her. Let me see. As the entire students that were supposed to take it ends up witnessing how destructive the Chazz is. As he's puts his weapons away, as he's like, chaotic, am I right? As everyone was like that. If this guy becomes a pro hero and end up doing that stuff, we'll be dead in about 5 seconds. Most people say that. But then he's like, don't worry, they were just robots anyway, so if I actually did that, I would have had to use it on someone a little bit more powerful than a average villain. As he looks at a camera, yeah, I know. As everyone's confused about him, except for Toga. As Toga explains to everyone that he has a special ability that allows him to break the fourth wall. That's one of his special abilities is. Wait, so you're saying he can break the fourth wall? Yeah, I can. The I'm only one that can. So like he basically tells them that it allows me to basically see, like, you know how the cameras, as he points to the camera that was aimed right at him, because the Nezu puts it in the fake city. Well, it's like that, but I can see the audience that are watching us. And it's called My Hero Academia TV show. So the main character, as he looks over to Zuko, is you, Zuko. You're more popular with everyone. You're a lot popular than all of us. Really? As everyone, including Todoroki, when Todoroki was there, when he heard that Zuko was popular, as he says, yeah, I can see people making what ifs about you. Some of it's pretty terrifying. Like, there was one that I was, like, watching, and through this, from this device, and ends up seeing what if you became Bane? And you guys don't know what Bane is. So, as he explains what Bane is, as when everybody heard, so you're saying that Bane is a villain that injects himself with this serum called Venom? Yes. That makes it's like strength enhanced quirk. But too much of it makes a person go home, like cuts loose like an animal. Oh. As when everyone heard that, and they're like, man, so is that true? Yeah. All of it's 100% true. There's even some shippers that ship, like, some of you guys with each other's. Wow. But mostly's main character is actually of this story, as he points to Zuko again, is him. We're all just side characters. As everybody's like, wait, so we're all side characters? Yeah. Except for him? Yeah. So then So then, and when Zuko heard that he's the main protagonist of the My Hero Academia universe, they're like, or he went from being like, okay, to, wait, what? as he says that. Yeah. So then yeah. That's just one of my abilities. That's, as some of them says, that's broken. Plus, it's almost similar to creation that Yumomo who has. But I can make things out of thin air. Like those two guns that you just created that blasted all the robots out of existence. Yeah. That's my bad. And there's one thing. One thing that really scares me about having this ability is people thinking that you're crazy. But one most important thing, some people, as he says, some people home that are watching us now, no, are made this one what if that is super dark, and it evolves around you, Zuko. Really? Yeah. As Zuko tells them in that what if that you who became a Nomu and killed all of them. Wow. As when Zuko heard that, and he's like, oh crud, no. So after that, they all went back to their houses, or their homes. Toga, because her parents were, or actually allowed him to stay with her. So he ends up basically stays with her. But they didn't know that he actually paid all the rent off before her. her. So, yeah. So then the time skip. He basically, before USJ incident. So, like after class, he walks up to Eraserhead and he asks him, is it okay for one of you guys to go to USJ before rest of us? Why, are you scared? No. I have a feeling, because I've seen this happen many times before in what if stories. Where this is what happens in the stories. You're taking us to USJ, and the villains come out of a portal, and ambushed us, and stuff like that. As Eraserhead and he could tell that Zuko or Chazz is onto something, because as Chazz says, I'm not a UA trader, but I do know it. I have seen it happen many times. As Eraserhead's like, you have seen this happens many times before, right? Yes. It's better for you. I think you're right. Let's have a talk with Nezu. He'll probably... So, Eraserhead and Chazz goes up into the Principal Nezu's office, and is it okay to whom? Like, I've seen this happen many times before, where, as he explains, where, I think I trust you, Chazz. You basically are right. They probably are planning to ambush us. For what reason? I remember seeing it was a part where it has to evolve around you, All Might. As me, what did they want with me? To kill you. Oh, All Might. As Chazz says it with a straight face. As they wanted to kill you and the students. And they have a Nomu that... Yeah. So, Eraserhead and Nezu and All Might agree that they should keep the students at UA so that all that stuff. So, yeah. So then so Toga, or after they had a talk with the Principal Nezu, Toga says, "There you are. I've been looking all over for you." And sorry. Right, I was busy with talking to Nezu and Eraserhead. Yeah, figures. As she jumps right at him, or gives him a hug, and yeah. So, and says that they both, need to, go back to their homes or back to their house, or to her house. And so they went back home, and So, but little did they know that the Taskmaster was like, "There you are, my brother." Yeah. And he didn't have a grudge against his brother, any grudges against him, but because of his, it was because of his parents. He had a grudge against his parents, or their parents, because, yeah. But in order to take his anger out on someone, he had to do it to his own brother. So, yeah. Hey, make sure. Hey, yeah. So when yeah. So a time skip. Give me a minute to, hold on before I do it. Now, sorry about that. Nature called, so the so now let's get back into the what if. So a time skip to, or actually, let's say Toga, or so let's say one day Toga went home before and he was by himself, but then Masked Man, as he says, "Hey brother, long time no see." As he turns around, is it Halloween? Or what? I don't recognize you. Oh, you do. As he takes off his mask and his hoodie, as when Chazz saw it was his own brother, he can't believe it. You're still alive? As he covered his own face. I know that you're trying to hide your tears of, like, but no need to. Oh. As instead of stabbing him, he straight up hugs him, and tells him that you earn. I know that I know our parents didn't survive, but in order for me to take my anger out, I have to take my anger out on you, brother. So Chazz ends up saying, okay, hey, I don't mind. Okay? So, when he basically whips out his blade, and as Chazz dodges the attack, or actually takes it head on, as he had marks all over his body, as blood's dripping, as he's still standing. Did that make you feel better, little, or my brother? Yeah, it felt great, actually. Thanks. I thought you were gonna put up a fight. No, I usually take the hits, hey? Yeah, like always, huh? Aren't you? And so, his clothes were ripped, and, like, basically were torn to shreds. There's only his shirt. So, when he got to Toga's, because he had most of because he's always spends time with Toga, so Toga's parents always had his clothes in her bedroom. So when he showed up with marks all over his body, as Toga's eyes widened, as she can't believe that someone, as he said, or she tells him what happened. Well, a villain that came out of nowhere and attacked me. And he had a grudge against my family. Wow. As he had wounds, like his blade wounds, healed faster than any other. So, he puts on a shirt and pants As he's happy to see his brother, but he didn't tell anyone so he made a promise to his brother that or come and visit. So then Taskmaster, or should I say his brother, looks just like this guy, but without the pointy ears. And yeah, he had a normal ears, and yeah. Well, so Taskmaster or Master tells his brother that basically who's that girl that you're dating. As Chazpool's face lit up, like basically his face was turning brightest red that he ever been. As Taskmaster says, as Chazpool's face is all blushed as he turns away. He's like the Ochako one. Remember that scene where at the mall that she looks at, or she was like had her hands on her face and she's like all blushing, like her face turns brightest red. Yeah, it's like that, but on a whole nother level. So he figures it out. You have a girlfriend now? Man, our parents would be so proud of you. Yeah. But are you proud of me? As actually has Master or L-Pool actually had a girlfriend, actually. And guess who it was? I'll give you one guess. It was a basically where is it? I'm trying to figure it out. Where is it? Actually, here's a hilarious thing. Here's a little plot twist. It was Zumi. Yeah, so Taskmaster, I can't even say his name. Taskmaster or L-Pool was in love with her, and she was actually at the exam, and when she saw like Chazpool, she thought of her boyfriend. Hold on. Sorry. She thought about the L-Pool. Like, basically, Chazpool's his brother. And so, after school, or after the exam thing, she actually asked him she has met Chazpool before, but through L-Pool, basically. So, and sometimes Toga gets jealous when she talks to him. The Zumi talks to Chazpool. Toga gets jealous about it. But then when he tells her that he Zumi actually has a boyfriend. Actually, he's or he's my twin, or he's my brother. As Chazz explains, he once had a brother, but then all that stuff. So yeah. So then that all happened, and the yeah. So then now about Taskmaster or and the Chazz were talking, and like he brings that up, as he swallowed his, like, basically his embarrassment, as he says, how's my, or actually Taskmaster says, how's my little princess doing? And as Chazz only times that he hears, or only times that his brother calls Zumi her, or his little princess, was since after they met Zumi and Zuko. So when he says they're doing good, I just had a conversation with her a couple weeks ago before. Hey? And did you really call Zumi your little princess? Yeah. You know I will tell her that, right? You better not. As he had a blade right up to his neck. As he's like, calm down, calm down. As he takes the blade away, calm down. Okay? So then I'll let you tell her that, but so then after that whole conversation, Zuko, or so the next day, he sees Zumi as he starts laughing. And did I tell you may I tell you something really funny? Sure. Well, it's about the past one. Okay. Did you know my brother actually had a giant crush on you? As he tells Zumi. As Zumi's face. Hold on. Let me get. So Zumi's face became all blushed, as she cannot believe that. She literally could not believe that. Is that how he felt? Yeah. And here's a funny thing. As he tells her, every time he sees ya, or every time he asks me about something about you, you know what he always says to me? And first of all, he'll probably kill me if I tell you, but just don't tell him that I said it. But, or none of you. Or, so, they were, like, away from, like, basically rooms and, like, somewhere that's private. So when he told her that what his brother always asks him, where's my little princess, as or or sometimes, as her face lit up, like basically she never actually had anyone call her princess before. Her, like, she literally was like, her eyes wide as they could, and she could not believe that her own, so friend's brother actually has a humongous crush on her. And he says, yeah, when I was gonna tell you but if I told you before then he would have probably cutted my head off before. As she tells him, next time you see him, tell him that, and it's funny, actually. I sometimes tell my brother that, where's my king? Or how's my king doing? So basically you're saying you called, or so Chazz says you called my brother the king? Yeah. Both of you are in love with each other, aren't you? As he tells her, yeah, like how you and Toga. I know every time Toga meets you, or every time both of you hang out, she always gets closer and closer to you. Yeah, that's no secret. So then yeah. So Chazz actually had so much, like, character development through the entire story. So, yeah. So then the next day, when he was walking home, he also meets, or, like, basically, when Elpool, yeah, Elpool was like, because he didn't know that he already told so until they met again. So when Chazz tells his brothers, like, you and her are actually in love with each other, aren't you? As he says, yeah. But did she say anything about me? Well, you know how, like, you always call her the little princess? Yeah. Well, he says it the opposite. Where's the big king? As when his brother's face becomes all blushed, as he can't believe all this time, she didn't say that to me. He, yeah. So then yeah. So at least you're alive, so I'm glad. So then so a time skip to All Might versus All for One, because I'm skipping over Sports Festival because yeah. And what happened to Hero Killer Stain is that the Taskmaster already took care of him, aka killed him, before he killed Tenya as his brother. I'm talking about Hero Killer Stain killing, yeah, all that stuff. So, All Might versus All for One. But in this story, it's Taskmaster versus, Taskmaster and All for One versus All Might. So, but All for One, basically pulls out the blade, and he was about to kill, both of them were about to kill, basically All Might. But then somehow Chazz used his own version of Room to switch places with All Might, and so both of so basically Chazz died. As his own brother, his eyes widen as he can't believe that he killed his own brother. And as Chazz gets up, because he had basically four swords inside of his chest, and as he pulls the swords out one at a time with two hands, as he barfs out blood, as he wipes it off. Now it's between you versus me. As he looks at All for One and Taskmaster. And so basically Chazz pulls out the music and he hits the song. And there will be the song playing in the during this part of the video. And yeah, so they basically were fighting each other in like a little bit of a dance-off thing, and like basically All For One thought he had an upper hand, but the dude just like knocks, or no, Chazz knocks the stuffing out of All For One and his own brother, and like basically he's so unpredictable that even his own brother couldn't even see what he's capable of. And when All For One was down, like basically was laying down, Chazz pulls out a rocket launcher and says, "Wakey, wakey!" Boom! And yeah, as he turns around, and he actually trips himself, before his own brother pulls the blade, as he dodges the attacks, as he's like grabs his own brother by the leg, makes him crash onto the floor, and all that stuff. Like he's dancing to it, as everybody's like confused and terrified, and like he sings the song that is playing right now, and as everybody's like, what is he doing? He's so unpredictable. As even the League of Villains were all defeated by basically by this one man that could basically be unpredictable. Like he's just like dancing around like a crazy man. He's doing backflips and all that stuff. So he defeated the entire League of Villains, or should I say the entire city full of villains. That's it, or the villains' entire army, by just dancing and being unpredictable, like how Deadpool is. Yeah. Including he also beats the Nomus around, and with a final shot thing, as he says, or at the end, he says this, or he pulls out, "Let's end things off with the bang," as he pulls the trigger, and then kaboom! As everybody thought, this nutcase is crazy. But it turns out it was just a bunch of fireworks strapped together. As everybody's like, now, let's get these guys behind bars, shall we? As he picks the one by one, two by two, as everybody's like, man, he's so unpredictable that even... Yeah. So then he looks at the audience with... He says this. do you like how I danced? And he did like a little bit of a Fortnite dance kind, but yeah. And so there was a part in the story that I completely skipped over, but I'll go back to it right now. So it was during the sports festival fight scene where instead of Bakugo versus Ochako, it was Ochako versus Chazz. And the Chazz breaks the fourth wall and says that, oh, this girl she knows that she's in love with Zuko, and she doesn't want to admit it to him. And a couple of the fans love her more than anything in My Hero Academia. So let's get things started. So then So Chazz is like, ready, begin, and okay. So then he comes out of nowhere, knocks Ochako around. I won't bruise you up too bad. As she flew over him, but then he somehow caught her by the foot and tossed her right out of the ring faster than she could even process. And she says, normally, if I was Bakugo, I would have just been overdoing it. But I'm not. As he turns to where Bakugo was sitting, you would have done the same thing. Or you would have done, like you would have been like grabbing her like jacket, and you were about to like use explosions on her. And of course, then Midnight comes in with her quirk and tries to put you to sleep. Right? As he turns her back around to Midnight and says, right? That's how I always seen that part many times before. As she's like, man. Because she heard from Nezu that this guy watched way too many of those and has breaks the fourth wall ability and all that stuff. So now a time skip, now we get back to All Might versus All for One. That's all done over with. So now a time skip. So because I'm skipping over Overhaul arc, and Ares was saved because actually by the Chazz, because Chazz didn't need to do all that stuff. So he was being super nice to her and all that stuff. So, and you guys are probably itching your heads about am I talking about myself and all that stuff? No, my character, my custom character is called Chazz. He's a made up character, not actual me, so yeah. There's two, so So yeah, and so Chazz Pool home is basically she. I don't know who this is, but hey. So I will have to get back to you. Yeah. So yeah. So he tells, or so in the near future, Chazz Pool is technically would be the alternate version of Deadpool, but yeah. So he ends up was dating Toga for a long time. Now it's time for her to get married to him. Just like how Chazz Pool's brother, got married to Zumi. Yeah, and then yeah, they have kids. So yeah, and yeah, and so then now, and please don't link or don't do like basically links me with the Chazz Pool. We're both separate people. Home. We're not the same person. I wish it was, but then it was like, no. It's my custom character. That actually, you guys actually suggested it was one of the comments said in the below, in one of the videos that said, do a video of what if Decker was Chazz Johnson. But then then you guys you guys sent me it, so then I was like, you know what? Actually, I had this character, Chazz Pool, for a long time. Even before I watched Deadpool home. So I had Chazz Pool before. But I couldn't figure out, like, his power scaling before. So, yeah. Plus, after I watched the Deadpool and Wolverine, it's a pretty funny movie. Go check it out. And yeah, stuff like that. So, please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. And now, peace out.